What's going on, guys? Steel here. And today we're taking a look at the M1128 Stryker MGS, which is a bit dead on arrival, but right now it currently sits on battle rating 9.0, and it has two new rounds, one of which it shares with the Vickers Mark V, the first of which is C76A1, which has an armor pen table of 334 millimeters of penetration at point blank range. At 500 and 1,000 meters at 30 degrees, it has 273 millimeters at 500, 265 at 1,000, 60 degrees, 187, and 182 millimeters respectively, with the good NATO high penetration angles of 81, 80, and 78 degrees for ricochet chance. And this round at 9.0 is fairly decent. At 10.7, I wouldn't even bother. However, the next round, which is M900, has a penetration table at 500 and 1,000 meters with a point blank range pen, of 522 millimeters, and at 500 meters at 30 degrees it is 433 millimeters, and at 1,000 meters it is 425 millimeters. At 60 degrees it is 297 millimeters and 291 millimeters respectively at those ranges. Now, when you actually unlock M900, you can take this thing up in 10.7 and do fairly decent with it. So far I haven't really had a chance to actually fire at anything other than a few Soviet tanks here and there. The velocity is actually pretty damn good on M900, and you can do quite a bit of damage actually when shooting the driver's hatches of Soviet MBTs. I kind of wish the M1IP would receive this round. It would be quite nice to actually have a third Abrams be usable with such a good round, because this round actually does a pretty decent post-pen damage versus any other 105 round that the Americans have. Even M833 really isn't that special. I mean, it was a round that I felt like was overdue, and it was not really that useful on arrival, considering the kind of targets it shoots at now. It can't really wall pen. Although, since it is a 10.3 MBT, not 10.7, might be a little bit different, but considering everyone is playing 10.7 right now, you're going to get sucked up regardless, so it doesn't really matter. But on the Stryker, it's pretty good. Like I said, pretty much the only 105 lull pen round at this kind of battle rating that you could take in. It's got a 10-second reload, it's an autoloader, and 5 degrees of gun depression. And it also has the upgrade package, which has C2 Mexus armor composites and slat armor, as you can see by the cages on the outside. Now, this is a battle on Fulda at night. This was probably my most decent battle, because as you saw in the beginning, that was pretty much how every single game went. This thing receives HULLBREAK the second any round in the game practically touches that turret. Anything at its own battle rating and above touches that turret, it's going to kill you. Even Sabo rounds from normal 105s, it's going to kill you. So, it's just not a good tank. As I said in the dev blog, and as I said on the dev server streams, it was going to be dead on arrival, and it pretty much is. I don't see a reason to get this thing. It's in the tank destroyer line past the M68A2 Starship, and it just doesn't really matter. I mean, at 9.0, sure, it's an extra tank at 9.0, which would help grind to rank 7. However, the HULLBREAK issue with its unmanned turret is the biggest problem. On the dev server originally, it had a 7.5 second reload and 8 degrees of gun depression. Someone made a bug report, and now it has 10 seconds of reload and 5 degrees of gun depression. So, it can't even go hull down and be sneaky over ridges, because 5 degrees of gun depression is piss poor. By the way, the Russian MBTs with 5 and 6 degrees of gun depression actually get an extra degree or two of gun depression whether or not the stat cards are actually a lie, and they've artificially given the Soviet MBTs a degree or two more to compensate for basically their MBTs lacking in gun depression. However, with this thing, it's 5 degrees. 5 degrees is 5 degrees. Over the side, it looks like it might be 6 degrees, but it is definitely not. And of course, I got killed by a UHT. I used all my smoke thinking he was firing at me originally, and he died. And a teammate actually team killed a Leclerc, and in the time it took him to team kill the Leclerc, he actually could have killed the Tiger before I inevitably died. Also, you could argue this is a wombo combo with the AV-8C, but I do nothing here. So we're just going to kind of skip to the next clip right after I killed that who was deserving. Sorry, not sorry. I know the one guy recognized me in game in the squad, but your buddy kind of deserved that. No offense. And I flew right through that Roland, the Zunies, yada yada yada. But yeah, moving on. This is literally the only other game that I'm going to show you of the Stryker, because every other wheeled vehicle I've played the entire Centauro line. You know, pretty much. Actually, no. Let me rephrase it. I've played the entire Italian tech tree. Every wheeled vehicle. You can compare the Centauros to it the most. Even the Romor, I've had a slightly better experience with. Because at least when the Romor gets shot in the turret, sometimes it doesn't hull break because it actually has the armor. The MGS is even better with all the extra add-on armor. Which is weird because this tank also has the Mexis upgrade, armor package, composite screens, whatever you want to call it, on it. That would, you'd think, do the same thing that the MGS's extra thick armor plates on its hull would do. But it really doesn't. This thing physically cannot take a shot. I've been actually able to take shots in the Centauro MGS, the 120 equipped one, and survive. This tank is just bad. It's bad. The upgrade package is forced upon you, so you are already nerfed because of Gaijin's terrible terrain resistances. Wheeled vehicles were already terrible on arrival in terms of that anyways. So that, compiled with their terrain changes from last patch or the couple patches ago, basically a couple months ago, whatever that was. Actually, no, probably half a year ago. That, and you are forced to have what probably weighs you down a good couple of tons, is pretty much just made this thing useless. Like I said, it's dead on arrival. M900 is cool, but there's just nothing special about the Stryker. Its reload is long, its gun depression is terrible, and it dies with any sort of sneeze to the gun breech housing. Some people, one person in my Discord in particular, actually said that they got hull broken by artillery that blackened their 50 cal on the side. Some other people have been getting hull broken by just other random shit. It's a terrible vehicle. There's no reason for HULLBREAK to exist in its current form. This thing should not be forced to use the upgrade package. No Russian vehicle with an upgrade package is forced to use that upgrade package. The BMP-1 and BMP-2 are not forced to use their upgrades. Imagine the BMP-1, I think it's the BMP-1 or the BMP-2, which one of them, maybe both. Imagine being forced to use the upgrade package that makes your vehicle that can be amphibious, non-amphibious. And you wanted to play it and take advantage of its amphibious capabilities. There's just no reason for this to be forced to use this upgrade package. So, I don't really know what else to say in the vehicle. It's dead on arrival. Its reload is terrible. Its gun depression is terrible. And when you can actually go hull down with it, you die. You get punished for using the system how it's kind of meant to be used. So, that's pretty much it on the Stryker. It's dead. Don't bother with it until Gaijin addresses HULLBREAK. I think it's about time that we as a community actually look into HULLBREAK, because it doesn't just ruin top tier vehicles. There's plenty of vehicles at the lower tiers that get treated the same way. Plenty of lighter armored vehicles. Things that you can machine gun at the lower tiers like trucks, don't really even, I mean, hull break doesn't even really matter when you can machine gun them, but all the wheeled vehicles in the game pretty much suffer from this. Except the Type 16, it has a lot of armor that, for some reason, doesn't always consider it a hull break, but that's basically the exception. I think it's time that hull break seriously gets changed, because all of these vehicles are just going to be pointless. There was no point to add the Stryker, knowing that hull break is just such a terrible mechanic. So, in order for the Stryker to actually be worth it, its upgrade package needs to be a modification and not stock, and hull break needs to be changed. It could probably go up to 9.3, 9.7 if hull break was actually a good mechanic. So yeah. Anyways, guys, that's pretty much it from me. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Steel Wolf, and I'll see you all next time.